Hi everyone, Susan Gaitan here at Allen Rams Proactive Training Solutions. Today is Tuesday, January 28th, and lots of our folks in the dealership world are closing the month, preparing for month end. It's a huge weekend for everybody. We wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm gonna wait for some people to jump on here, but we wanted to do something different for 2020. And so in our everyday processes, one of the things that we do here, that our team does here, is that we mystery shop dealerships, not just our clients, but potential clients as well. And you know, Alan was huge on this type of measurement. He was a big proponent of not just call monitoring, having call monitoring, but actually listening to your calls. And he would say, managers, you've got to have your computer open, your window open, your call monitoring window open, not just once a day, not just once in a while. You have to have it open throughout the day. Why? You should be listening to these phone calls, just as you would not allow a client on the showroom floor to get blown off. You wouldn't allow it on the phones either, right? And we know that we're getting a lot more phone calls today than people actually showing up into our showrooms. And so, hi guys. Got some people on here. So I want to get right into it because the mystery shop that I conducted, I chose a random dealership, and let me just clarify that this is not a current client of ours. Hi, Cassie. But I wanted to choose someone completely random. Now, lots of you guys, and I hope that I have managers on the line watching this, but most of you guys don't know what your team sounds like on the phones. It's crucial to know what they're saying. It's critical. Even when you do train your guys, when you think you might be training your guys, a lot of the times they just don't know what to say. And, you know, listen, I've heard calls that are just ugly, ugly. And I've heard calls that are not so bad. This particular call that I'm going to play for you guys, hi Kim, is a gentleman at a very large used car dealership. I called on a used car, and I chose this type of call because this is what we are hearing the most out there, is people calling on a used advertised car, whether it's on your website or on AutoTrader, third party, whatever, okay? So this guy is actually not bad. He's actually very personable and friendly. He just hasn't been taught or trained properly. So I broke it down to 5 points I want you guys to listen for. And I've sort of diced up the call. I've muted the protected the identity of the sales rep, and so we've muted any sort of name or number or name of the dealership out. And I'll be playing little pieces for you, but there's 5 points I want you guys to remember, and this is what we teach in our classes, in our management classes. If you take this and you apply it to your phone calls this week, and I guarantee you're going to get more people into your showroom. Number 1 is the greeting. A lot of these guys don't know how to greet somebody properly. Now, a lot of you folks, I'm hearing, there's just no excitement on the phone. Believe it or not, it's sometimes I get people answering the phone as if I'm just, their spouse or someone calling up for something else, not wanting to buy a car. And, we forget that shoppers, this is the second largest transaction that they'll have in their life. And they only do this 3 to 4 years, every 3 to 4 years, whereas you reps, you salespeople are talking to people, and you're getting in and out of these gorgeous cars, and you're conducting these conversations on a daily basis. So it may be exciting for you, but you have to portray that excitement for the client, and that's just from the get-go. You don't have a second chance to make a great first impression. But in that greeting, in that initial greeting, I usually can determine whether the gentleman is going to have control of the phone call or not. Okay. So one of the first things that, for example, we teach people to do is to open up the shopper. Now, they're calling you on one car, yes. However, most people will switch cars. In fact, 82% of people will switch vehicles. So you want to open up and you want to ask the questions and qualify them, not the other way around. A lot of times it's like an interrogation, on the customer's end, and the salesperson just responds until the customer runs out of questions. It shouldn't be like that. You need to show your guys how to have control, and it's knowing how to ask the right questions. The second thing is opening up. I mentioned that already. 82% of people will switch. And so that's a huge thing. Now, when the customer switches, you want to make sure that they come back to you. So you want to open them up besides the Elantra that you're looking at. Would you consider a year newer if it met your budget? What other vehicles are you considering? You want to make sure to let them know that you have other options in your inventory. Your inventory changes daily, sometimes by the hour even, okay? The third thing is price. I want you guys to listen now. Because most sales reps I hear are just answering questions, inevitably the conversation is going to lead to price. Most shoppers are going to ask about price at some point. So you need to make sure your guys are responding to this in the right way. Not to run to the desk for a discount, but how to respond. You should know what your current ads are. You should know what your prices are. This gentleman actually did a great job of explaining how they reach their prices online. The fourth thing is selling the dealership. Now, shoppers today, one thing I've noticed, and remember, they're not just shopping you. They're shopping 5 or 6 other people online. Hi, Kim. And so you need to know this. They're looking at other cars and they're shopping other people. So what's going to make them come to you? How will you ultimately convert them to come into your dealership versus all the other ones? And it's likability. People want a trusted advisor. They want to trust you. They want less pressure. They want to know that you're there to help them. It's common sense, but a lot of the times I don't hear this sort of service being provided from the rep. And this gentleman actually does a really good job of selling the dealership, their benefits, and then him and his service. The last thing and the most important thing, and then we'll start listening to the call, is hooking the trade. I can't tell you how critical this piece is. And this is something that we teach our clients to do. Now, because the issue today in the industry is not closing a deal. The challenge today is converting the shopper, the lead, into your dealership, having him show up. That is the challenge. And so the best sales teams in the world know how to convert. And that's the whole point here. Hooking the trade is a way to get the customer to come and see you, okay? Most of the time, I hate to say it, but believe it or not, nobody's asking about the trade. Nobody's asking the shopper if they even have a trade. And if the trade comes up, it's, okay, yeah, well, yeah, we can look at it here and we can give you a price for it. Or, this gentleman here, actually, he didn't bring it up at all. And I tried to set him up so that he would hook me. Now, what does hooking mean? Okay, we know what hooking means. It means obviously getting that customer, giving him a reason to come and see you. Okay, and so with the trade, what we teach folks is to paint a picture for the customer that you want the trade. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a great transition vehicle for us. Let me explain what that means. We've got a lot of folks coming in here for new cars. Unfortunately, most of them or some of them can't afford it, so they end up looking for something a little bit older with some miles on it that they can get into a little bit more affordably. We call these transition vehicles. And for that reason, our appraisers tend to pay more, sometimes a lot more. When was the last time you had it appraised? And it's simple. You're painting a picture and you're planting a seed in that customer's head, because guaranteed that customer is going to be shopping everywhere. And we want him to remember you. We want him to remember you when the trade comes up, because no one else is doing this, okay? So let's get right into it. We only have a few minutes left. I'm gonna go ahead and play this for you now. And this is the beginning of the call.
Hold on just a moment. Oh.
All right, here we go. We've muted the...
How can I assist?
Hi, I'm sorry, your name is Nathan?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. See you today.
Oh, that's okay. Calling about a 2015 Hyundai Elantra that you guys have online.
Okay, Hyundai Elantra. Perfect. Let
Yes.
me find that for us. You just want to know if it's still available, or
Yeah, just get some info on it and ask about price. Mm-hmm.
you got it. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Not prepared. Can one of you tell me if you can hear the call okay?
Alrighty. And I'm sorry, your name was?
My name is Susan.
All right, Susan, you got it. Okay, so I'm doing a search now, because we do off-site locations as well. So sometimes if the car isn't physically here, I still have access to it. So I'm glad you at least called me to double check. What year was it?
It's a 2015, and I did call the main number that's on your website. So I'm looking at the car now, and the main number that's on here led me to somewhere else.
Got you.
Hi, Firkin.
I think Michigan. So.
Yeah, that's because the headquarters is in Michigan.
Yeah.
So if you call the 1-800 number, that sometimes happens. But
Right, yeah.
I'm just gonna pause it here. He's still looking for the car. He's actually going through his inventory. You don't need to do that. There's no need to do that. Most of the time, these guys will switch. You don't want to, and you don't want to discuss one single car the whole time. So let's keep it going.
Just a little confusing, but he gave me the number to this location, said it was here.
Cool. Yep. So the 15 Hyundai Elantra, it has about 38,007 miles on it, 700
That's
miles.
That's
Yep.
it.
It's listed around 10,180.
Okay.
And I did do a quick little pull. It's no accidents, no damage reported. It was a 2-owner, which is pretty normal for a 15.
Okay.
It does look like, so it was a personal leased vehicle. They only did like 3,000 a year on it, so it was probably like a Snowbird, that just needed a get-around car.
Okay.
And then it was a personal vehicle.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it here because he goes on just telling me all about the car. Great. He's doing a great job at doing that. Again, very friendly guy, very service-oriented. But again, I'm gonna switch more than likely. So you don't wanna try to land me on anything. You don't want to focus on one vehicle. Instead, he could be asking me what features are important to me, or what other cars I would consider, or if I would consider a year newer. We're going to fast forward a little bit where I tell this gentleman that I'm just starting my search, okay? So he knows that I'm poking around.
Coast actually, so it was kind of a long trip, but
I got you.
Here we go.
I have I'm just starting my search, just poking around, looking at cars that are around this price range, the model year, and the mileage is right exactly how I want it.
Okay.
So
cool.
I just really am starting my phone calls and wanted to just get, wanted to make sure it was there, and then wanted to get that information. I appreciate that. Now, as far as price, is this price negotiable? Is it your bottom line price?
He's prepared
there's so
here.
much confusion when it comes to that because we work almost like a CarMax. So my online price is usually my utmost and best price because our window stickers are changed every single month. Like if the car sits here, of course there's a price drop. But our online prices are always our up-to-date price. Now, you'll find in your research, because you're not from the area, the way we price our cars is the most aggressive on the Treasure Coast. And I say that with confidence because I'll let you do your research and just compare other ones like this one.
Okay, so great job at having a response to the price. Now, again, most of the time, your customers, your shoppers are going to ask about price. Why? What else are we going to do? There's not a lot of things to ask, Is it in good condition? What's the price? Can I get a lower price? You have to have a response for this, and this gentleman actually does. Now, for new cars, you obviously want to know a shopper is usually calling on an aggressive manufacturer's promotion, and you want to make sure that you are aware that you're actually posting or making sure that your sales team knows what these current promotions are. And you want to reiterate that. And it goes up from there. The price goes up from there depending on the options you choose. I'm going to fast forward here also because we're running out of time to the trade, okay? He actually did a good job of selling himself. He told me about his Facebook profile and his reviews, which is great, selling the dealer, selling the rep. But this is where I feel like he went off track, is when I asked about the trade. Well, first of all, he didn't ask me about the trade at all. I had to bring it up. So here we go. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. All right, here we go.
Really, I can go either way on the trade. I can keep it or I can sell it. I'm calling around talking to people. Some folks are telling me to put it up on Auto Trader. I've got a 2012 Volkswagen Passat, and it's got about 121 miles, 121,000.
Give me a reason to come and see you, okay?
Miles on it.
Got it.
So would you guys be able to do something there? What would you suggest?
Yeah. What I will say is, if you wanted a rough estimate idea of what the dealerships or like what the national average on the car is, you can just go through like Kelley Blue Book, and I don't like to. They're not accurate, but they're kind of a guesstimation. Rate the car, punch in all the details of the car on Kelley Blue Book, and then rate it at a fair value. Even if yours is in great condition, just rate it off fair, because that's like worst case scenario.
Okay, so he's telling me to go and do the work myself, all right? Now this is where he falls off track. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more because I really wanted him to get this right, and I wanted him to hook me on this trade. Come and see me. We would love to take a car like that. That would make a great transition vehicle. Let me take the work and the stress out of your life. Remember that most people have a trade, so this is a great thing to bring up on the call. So here we go. He doesn't though. And I think I even asked him if I can go and sell my trade and then come back and see him. So here we go.
Us. But we rate it just like a CarMax. We'll take it in on trade and do the same thing.
Oh, you'll do the same thing. Okay.
Except we're applying it towards the vehicle. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me work on this. So I've got some work to do.
Do your due diligence, Susan. Research and please check our reviews out.
I will. So even if I take my trade to CarMax, I can still come in and see you on the purchase, right?
Exactly. Yes, you can.
Perfect.
Yeah, they'll cut you an actual check. And then
Okay, so he's basically telling me, go ahead and get that done and then come back and see me. I'm not going to do that. Most shoppers aren't going to they don't want to leave their house. Nobody wants to leave their house and go drive and make several trips. Nobody wants to do that. You need to save the customer time and stress, be their trusted advisor. Let me handle that for you. I want to remind you guys that this was random, and this is not the worst that I've seen. There are really, really horrible mystery shops that I've done that it shocks me every time. We can do this for you. If you are sitting there, if you are a manager, a dealer principal, a GM, and you truly want an honest measurement, an honest temperature of how your sales team is handling your paid leads, your prospects, give us a call. This is a very simple but very effective service that we provide our clients and non-clients. And so feel free to reach out to us. You can comment here or you can reach us directly. Our information is attached here on this page. Did want to remind you guys, a lot of these methods and strategies we teach in our management class. You don't want to miss the next one. This is our Management by Fire class this year. It's going to take place in Phoenix, Arizona, March 17th and 18th. We're about 6-7 weeks away. Such a wonderful class. We take a much deeper dive into all of these strategies so that you can go back to your dealerships and train your teams. Again, it's been great. It's been fun. I hope to do these mystery shops again for you guys, possibly at another time. And have a killer weekend, everyone.